It's a battle of the Vanessa Hudgens holiday rom-coms. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're pitting two Netflix original Christmas movies against each other: The Night Before Christmas and The Princess Switch. For this showdown, we're gonna figure out if it's the princess or the knight who reigns supreme. Round 1. Plot.
I am so sorry.
No problem.
Before we start comparing these two films, let's first explore the stories told in each one. Released in 2018, The Princess Switch stars Vanessa Hudgens playing not one but two different characters: Stacey DeNovo, a Chicago pastry chef, and Margaret Delacourt, Duchess of Montenaro.
Wait, you're the one who's marrying the prince?
Yes.
Oh, right, you're here for that tour.
Stacey finds herself competing in a baking competition in the Kingdom of Belgravia, where she runs into Margaret, who is engaged to be married to Crown Prince Edward of Belgravia.
Mr. Novo, did you say you were a baker?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I have my own shop in Chicago.
The two are basically identical, and when Margaret suggests that the two switch places so she can have a few days out of the spotlight, Stacey reluctantly agrees.
I want to be you. I want to switch places with you.
Switch places?
I become you, and you become me. Get out.
After the switch takes place, there are plenty of hijinks, and both women realize they could actually see themselves settling into the roles that they were temporarily embodying. There's romance too, but more on that later.
Right hand red.
Considering the success of The Princess Switch, Netflix employed Hudgens for another holiday film for the 2019 season.
Can we take a selfie?
Pretty, what might that be, Mary?
In The Night Before Christmas, she plays Brooke, a high school science teacher from Bracebridge, Ohio, who's getting over a breakup.
What's wrong?
Just someone I wish would move to the North Pole so I never have to see his face again.
Your ex-boyfriend, James.
We simultaneously meet Sir Cole, a 14th century knight who finds himself magically transported to the present day by an old crone.
Crone! Begging your pardon, lady.
The two meet when Brooke almost runs over Cole while she's driving, and then takes him in because she believes him to have amnesia from the accident.
Oh my god! Are you okay? I'm so sorry, I couldn't see anything. Are you hurt? What can I do?
Romance ensues. Brooke starts to believe Cole is actually a medieval knight, and the audience has to wait to figure out if he's going to stay in the present or not.
Do you know what year it is?
The picture box said it's 2019.
While both of these stories are definitely compelling, we have to say that the premise for The Night Before Christmas is a little more out there, and therefore more intriguing.
Flying steel dragon.
Oh! I'm so sorry.
Winner, The Night Before Christmas. Round 2, Main Characters. Now that we've learned about the stories, let's do a deep dive into the main characters in each film. Brooke from The Night Before Christmas is a small-town girl who cares about her students and her family, and has been unlucky in love.
We all grow up fantasizing about being a princess and finding true love with a knight in shining armor and living happily ever after. But the thing is, that's all it is. A fantasy.
She doesn't believe in fairy tale happily ever afters, and certainly isn't waiting for a knight in shining armor to sweep her off her feet.
The guest house is just around the back. It's nothing fancy, but you should be nice and cozy.
But wait, an actual knight ends up showing up in her life, and he's cute and gallant and of course believes in old-timey chivalry.
Since when are you previously committed?
At the moment a kind and fair maiden opened her doors to me.
His fish out of water bit is pretty adorable, as he shows awe over so many everyday things in Brooke's modern world.
It appears this contraption brings the icy weather outdoors. Inside.
While The Night Before Christmas follows just one couple, The Princess Switch has two.
Just one moment, if you please.
Do I really sound so Downton Abbey?
We've already talked about Stacey and Margaret, but let's tell you a bit more about the men in this movie.
There you are.
Here I am.
When Stacy goes undercover as a duchess, she meets Prince Edward, Margaret's fiancé. Margaret may have been lukewarm about him, and we admit he isn't the most charismatic prince we've ever seen. But Stacy brings out his lighthearted and fun-loving side.
I always wanted one of these. Parents never let me have one.
What's wrong with saving the Earth from an alien invasion?
Well, if you're going to save the Earth from an alien invasion, you should probably do it via diplomacy, not warfare.
While Stacy is off with a prince, prim and proper Margaret is learning what it's like to live among the simple folk.
Get a haircut?
Yes. Yep. Sure did.
Just out of the blue.
Yep.
I've known you 12 years. You do not do out of the blue.
She meets Stacy's friend and business partner Kevin, who she quickly falls for because he's such a sweet and caring guy. Honestly, we love the characters in both these movies, but because there are two couples to fall for in the Princess Switch, that's who we're giving our point to.
She sounds like she was ahead of her time.
Pals could use someone like her again.
Winner, the Princess Switch. Round 3, side characters.
I have a favor to ask. I'm going to need as much help as I can get to pull off this year's Christmas Eve feast. You in?
Indeed. I am at your service day or night.
The cast of characters is kept pretty small in The Night Before Christmas, with Brooke's family making up most of the personalities in the story. Emmanuel Shrieky plays Madison, Brooke's sister, and seemingly her only friend.
But you what? Brooke, what if he's dangerous?
Who's dangerous?
But no one, honey. Stop eating those. They're for the cookies.
Madison has a daughter named Claire who figures prominently in the story. In one notable scene, finding herself stuck on a precariously frozen lake during a storm.
Claire, have you ever seen a snail?
Yes.
Now I need you to pretend you're a snail right now and crawl slowly on your belly to me.
Cole has to save her, which helps Brooke fall in love with him, of course. Brooke's family isn't the most interesting bunch, and there aren't many other characters who appear. Well, except for Officer Stevens.
Well, you're turning into quite the natural at this game, Cole.
The Princess Switch features a broader cast, including the prince's parents, King George and Queen Caroline, as well as the king's butler, Frank.
These need to go to the kitchen.
It also features an adorable and somewhat precocious young girl in Kevin's daughter, Olivia, who dreams of being a ballerina.
What would you like for Christmas?
Let me see. A new pair of ballet slippers, a skateboard, and oh yeah, a new mom.
In fact, it's a dance program for Olivia that motivates Stacy to do the switch in the first place.
You wouldn't happen to know anyone at the Children's Ballet Conservatory, would you?
That's one of the royal charities.
So if an adorable 8-year-old ballerina wanted to do the summer program, it would be my pleasure to sponsor her.
There's also the villainous Brianna, who's the defending champion of the baking competition, and who threatens to sabotage Stacy's performance.
We're gold. We're sparkles. This isn't a funeral, it's Christmas.
Because of the more expansive cast and more compelling minor characters, we're giving the point here to the Princess Switch.
Secret handshake?
Winner, the Princess Switch. Round 4, romance. Considering these are romantic movies, we've gotta rate the romance. While all of these love stories are a bit cheesy, we can still pick a favorite.
Christmas should be about love.
I've never seen you so sentimental.
Well, maybe you don't know me that well.
Interestingly, although Stacy and Edward are clearly supposed to be the primary couple in the Princess Switch, we find ourselves being more convinced by the romance between Kevin and Margaret.
God, are you okay?
I don't know.
It seems like these two actually have lots more chemistry, and we believe them as a couple. Also, who can forget that scene where Kevin comes looking for toothpaste with his shirt off, and Margaret basically can't pick her jaw up off the floor.
Hey, I forgot my toothpaste. Can I borrow yours?
Sure.
Where is it?
There's clearly something special between these two, but Stacy and Edward leave us feeling a bit tepid. Sure, their romance is sweet, but it's not particularly memorable. In The Night Before Christmas, we get to see a time travel love story, and we've got to admit, we're suckers for the genre.
See? Not so difficult.
What's more compelling than a man and a woman from different times who manage to find common ground despite all of the discrepancies in their worldviews?
Can girls be knights?
Yes. Girls can be whatever they want to be.
It's charming as hell watching Cole put his 14th century moves on Brooke, and his boyish good looks certainly don't hurt.
Do you know where you're going?
Not exactly. I'm determined to find out.
We get to see this medieval guy binging Netflix movies and trying his best to fit in, all while asserting that he's actually a time traveler.
What say you and I binge watch together? Come hither.
The chemistry between these two is convincing, despite the entire movie being a little chaste. Because the romance is split in the princess switch between two couples, and one of the love stories wasn't particularly inspiring, we're giving this point to The Night Before Christmas. Winner, The Night Before Christmas. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Round 5. Realism. Considering both of these movies include some pretty fantastical storylines, let's compare how realistic they are and take into account how well each film did at building a convincing world for the audience.
Isn't it too cold to go riding?
I thought you said you loved the cold air.
I do. I do. But I'm worried about the horses.
The Princess Switch involves an identical strangers plotline, which to begin with isn't the most realistic storytelling device.
Do you think we could be related somehow?
Many stories like this one involve long-lost twins, but Stacy and Margaret are only potentially distantly related, which doesn't exactly explain them looking exactly the same.
3 generations ago, your great-grandmother's cousin Cecil fled the country after a dalliance with a vulgar American divorcee. It was rumored that Cecil settled in the United States.
Margaret speculates that one of her ancestors ran off to America at some point, and a deep dive would make these two fourth cousins at most.
Stacy, I think we were destined to run into each other, don't you?
The other unrealistic aspect is that more people don't realize that they've switched places. Considering how well Kevin knows Stacy, we don't really buy that he didn't feel like something was up.
Well, it's not just me. We're a team. This is Kevin, my very talented sous chef.
While the plotline of The Princess Switch is vaguely plausible, there's nothing realistic about The Night Before Christmas.
I gotta go.
Wait, why? What?
Just realized I got a fire to put out.
Namely because time travel hasn't been invented. Yet. But hey, we're here for the time travel concept, so let's go deeper into how convincing the filmmakers were with the plot point.
But you know time travel isn't a real thing, right? And the 1300s are now in 2019.
Well, by that logic, only things that you comprehend are possible.
One of the biggest issues we have is how easily Cole seems to settle into modern life.
The scoundrel James did. How would you put it? Really did a number on your self-esteem, babe.
He doesn't seem particularly frightened by the car zooming by him, or the other modern technologies that are used throughout the story.
Lady Alexa play. I want my horse.
Here's one horse open sleigh.
Technically, The Princess Switch is more realistic, but more importantly, as the movie goes on, you don't find yourself questioning the story or trying to poke holes in it.
It's about truth and honor. But mostly it's about love.
The creators managed to build a convincing setup that lets us suspend our disbelief. Winner, The Princess Switch. Well, it looks like The Princess Switch takes this one with a victory of 3-2. Which of these movies did you prefer? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.